you get to be shy, I'm going to actually he's going to fight over it. I said, let's go. I'm going to take it all, guys.
And right there, enough on you, but I don't have the pin. That's what I'm saying. If we could find that safety pin, someone has something to slip it on there with. This is going to be kind of heavy behind you. This little box here. Okay, this little box here.
Opportunity that I've had as a group to welcome you to the convention, and we appreciate your attendance. And if there's any complaints about anything except room assignments, I don't mind listening to those. The room assignments going to have to be someone else's responsibility. But we do appreciate your coming, taking the time. I'm going to speak on table sets, obviously, at I think it's 7 o'clock. This evening, Marie McGee will be talking on Millersburg. We brought her Millersburg all the way from California. We appreciate that very much, Marie. Tomorrow morning, John Britt will be talking on miniatures. Now, I don't know what John decides the miniature is, but you'll find out tomorrow what a miniature is in Carnival. So John will be talking tomorrow morning. Then we saved the best for the last at our banquet meeting, the banquet on Saturday evening. Don Moore will be talking to us on things that your grandmother would like to have had. I think a lot of the things that we have, Grandma used to have. So, but Grandma didn't pay the prices that you're paying today. But my wife, Rosa, and I, we kind of got started collecting table sets, and I guess most people have a reason for doing something. I guess maybe the only reason that I could think about collecting table sets that I do like to eat, which is obvious, and that reminded me of something to eat, talking about tables. So I guess maybe that's why I got started collecting table sets. One of the first pieces that I bought, sometimes when you buy stock, the idea is that you buy low and sell high. But, sometimes we buy high and we have to wait till it goes higher before we can sell it. This is probably the first piece of the table set that I purchased. It's maple leaf spoon. We probably all got started in collecting glass. We went around to all the farm auctions and looked in the paper and see what was going to happen next week at some auction somewhere. Well, this was a gentleman in Grandview, Missouri that had auctions. We used to wander around the country at these auctions. Every time I would go to an auction on Sunday afternoon, or sometimes there was a guy, Ralph Mullins, who isn't here, but Ralph had an auction sale several years ago and sold most of his glass. But he was always sitting on the front row. Every time I went there was Ralph Mullins sitting on the front row. And he used to say, well, he looked back and he said, there's that guy with a fur haircut back there in the back. So, but anyway, he and I got bidding on that piece of glass. I paid $90 for that thing, and it still isn't worth $90. Be able to get my money back out of that spoon. That's kind of where I got started on collecting table sets. If anybody wants to buy it for $90, it's for sale. I still don't have the complete set for it yet. I do have the better edition, the others. Rose and I have 37 complete table sets and about 23 table sets that aren't complete. So we're still working on table sets. We buy a piece every once in a while. I'd like to thank Chuck Kramer. He did bring a couple of, I think, 3 pieces today and this put together, which I did not have the complete set. But he brought, I asked him to bring some of his. He sometimes they're beating me on prices at auction. So 3 pieces in here belong to him. And he also sent me an article that was written in HOACGA in December 1972 by Mr. Don Moore. So he listed the 30 top table sets. I don't intend to compete with his 30 top table sets, but there are some table sets in here, Don, I've never seen before that you got listed in the top 30. So they must really.
I didn't know what the hell was writing about.
But anyway, I'm still looking at some of those table sets. If I can find them, they're got to be in the top 30. And then he just wrote another one that he quoted Mr. Olson. He compared Mr. Olson's top 100 with the top 100 rarity. And there is a table set in the top 100. So table sets aren't rare, according to Don Moore. But anyway, we do enjoy all the articles, whether we agree or we disagree with those sets. We enjoy the articles that everybody writes. Whether we agree or we disagree, we still enjoy and we still can learn something about the article. But anyway, I will just go through and identify some of the patterns that are here. We have 22 table sets here that we picked those 22 out. And I'm glad I didn't get any more because 22 is all I could get for setting on the table. Yeah. But anyway, we'll start. This is the Reef Cherry table set. And this is the only table set that I know it's marked with a diamond D. It has the diamond D marked in it, so we obviously know who made that set. But this one does have the the D inside the diamond. This is the flute table set in green. I do have the complete set, but when I arrived today and we unpacked, I didn't find the creamer. I hope the creamer is at home in the cabinet still. But anyway, it wasn't here when we got through unpacking. So, but this is the green flute. I would say it's a rather scarce set in that color. I bought this set at the Gregoire auction some years ago. If you were there at the Gregoire auction. Very beautiful set. I would say it's rather rare, although this particular set probably does not demand a whole lot of money because it's rather plain and simple and not much in it. No, I would say that probably green is as rare as most any table set that you'll come across. But it still does not demand a lot of money. Why, I don't know, but it's, I guess because of the lines that on it, it doesn't have the flowers and all that beautiful intricate work. The next set is the Country Kitchen. The Country Kitchen set, I did buy that as a set. And I don't know, I think the Country Kitchen set is very, very beautiful, and the lines are very nice and set. This old creamer, I don't really know. Obviously, there was someone else that made the creamer versus the sugar and the spooner. But that is the Country Kitchen set. I was also able to purchase a Country Kitchen marigold. You'll see the marigold setting up by the nice blue peacock fountain. I do have a tub of sugar. I was the HOACGA convention. Tom Burns owned that butter dish, and Tom Burns, I've been trying for a year to purchase that from Tom, and he wouldn't sell it. So I don't know why he decided that he would sell it, but anyway, he offered it for sale. And at the same time, there was a butter dish in another room up at the convention that covered sugar. So I was trying to get Tom to agree to sell the butter. I wasn't going to go buy the sugar if I couldn't get the butter. Well, we were bargaining over the price of the butter. And so then I finally got him to agree to sell the the butter, and I looked and the lady next door had bought the sugar. So I had to then talk her out of selling me the sugar. So I did buy the butter and the sugar. So I do need 2 pieces for the Marigold Country Kitchen butter dish. The butter, the table set. The next is the bean shell, the Marigold. That set also comes in amethyst. Very difficult to come by, and amethyst is a lot more difficult than Marigold. But that is the Marigold bean shell set. Next is the Frank Fenton set. Green with butterfly and berry. This is in green. The covered sugar here belongs to Chuck Kramer. This sugar lid is a lot like some of our interstates. They turn the rough side up or something. They iodize the inside of this, and then iodize the outside of that thing. So Frank, I think that the guy got mixed up. It was iodizing that day. It's all right to have it iodized. It would be nice to get it iodized.
I wasn't around to see it.
Can't blame the responsibility on you. I'll start up at the top. The white set is the white peach. I think you'll find a few pieces in blue in that set. That I talked Mr. Chris Harnish out of that set one day, and I guess maybe one of his weak moments, but anyway, he didn't read himself in that set, so that's where that one came from. The next is the Cosmos and Cane table set, which I don't really know where I bought that one, but that's Cosmos and Cane and Honey Amber. It does come in white, and some people talk about being in Marigold, but it's kind of sometimes hard to tell what's in the Marigold and Honey Amber, but that is the Honey Amber set. We come back down on the bottom row. This is the David got the Garches in green. My wife almost divorced me over when I bought that set, but I stayed in there and bought the set. I think Ray Reichert was behind me on bidding on that set, right? But that's the David got the Garches. It comes in green and in marigold, and in cobalt blue. The butterfly and berry set comes in amethyst, which the amethyst set is very, very scarce. It may be as scarce as the green in the butterfly and berry. There's been a couple of butter dishes sold within the last, I'd say within the last 6 months, and they've both been up in the $300 to $400 range for the price range for the amethyst butterfly and berry butter dish alone. Does anybody know of a complete set in amethyst? This is the Palm Beach white. The Palm Beach also comes in the honey amber, and this color also. I think it's those sets are supposedly made by the Glass Company, the Glass Company. This is springtime. The value of, about a month ago, the value of this springtime, green springtime, really went up. That auction, if you were at Don Moore's auction, I saw out in California one time, Don Moore's, and he had that set. I tried to buy the green springtime before I had any of this. And he said, well, that's the first piece Tommy bought. Well, Tommy made an awful good investment when he bought the green springtime table set, because it did go at a pretty good price at the auction. I think he was surprised Don Moore. But I think if he'd have written that article about rarities after that table set, I think it would have changed his mind about the rarities. This little set here, the creamer and the open sugar, which in Cosmos and Cane is a breakfast set. I don't know whether that exists or anyone else has seen that set. I picked that up at a flea market thing in Whitetown, Nebraska, in an office of the flea market. I walked by it and thought, well, that's really not very good marigold, and I walked a little ways and I walked back and I said, well, I don't think that's really too comfortable, so I think I'll go back and then. It was very, very reasonable, but the wife started bargaining for it. He was trying to get down some more. Then she did. So we were glad to have that little Cosmos and Cane breakfast set. The middle is the ice blue peacock fountain. The peacock fountain comes from marigold cobalt blue. I was fortunate to be able to buy a cobalt blue butter dish. Mr. Floyd Whitley, he offered it to me one day. All right, he had it. I knew it. I saw it in his house and asked him about it, so he really sell it to me. Very beautiful. It comes in amethyst, marigold, white, ice blue, and green. And the green set is very difficult to come by, and cobalt blue is that easy to use. I was used to, one time I was on the Lake County City Council, and one night we got a telephone call. The guy offered that ice blue peacock fountain set. It was about 10 o'clock at night. So my wife just couldn't wait till I got home, so she got on the telephone and called the police department and told me something good. I went to say she wasn't wrong with me. She searched me out and had me to come home and make telephone calls. I said, so we go out there at about 11 o'clock one night. I was very glad to get it. This is the green Millersburg hanging cherry. What that was Wichita at an auction. I was very glad that the man didn't take right in bid. So I was, John Britt came down to buy the amethyst orange tree picture that turned out to be a cobalt blue when he got there. So he was disgusted. So he went home before the table set everything up. So I appreciate John going home. The man didn't take right in bid. So got that one very reasonable. The officer put this up and sold it so much pieces, take all 4 pieces. So I thought that was good to me. We can try to sell that place. This is the Tintonia table set, marigold. It comes in fine amethyst and cobalt blue also. I think it's rather nice, attractive pattern, a lot of very busy pattern. This circle scroll in amethyst, I was, that came from Mrs. Guida auction the last time she had her auction. That came from her auction. The color is not what you would like on sometimes, but when you're talking about buying table sets, that's one of the problems that you have, is that you do not have a wide choice of selecting this one or that one or some other set. When a set is sitting there, you try to buy it. So that one did come up, and I was glad to get that one. And I think it's very, very scarce. And in amethyst, it does come in marigold also. I had 3 pieces in marigold, but I didn't use because of sugar. It was one of the first butter dishes that I bought. John Britt told me that Big Hartown had that butter dish. So I rushed down to Big Hartown and bought the butter dish at the same time I bought a price guide from it. So all the way back home, I was looking at the price guide. And the price I paid for the butter dish didn't compare anything to what that price guide said that butter dish was worth. I guess that's the things you can put in price guides a lot of times. But I was happy to get the butter dish. Anyway, I didn't look at the price guide to see what the butter dish was worth. I found it, and so I bought it. This table set is a rather attractive Carnival HOACGA pattern. And that's one of those things, I guess, when John Britt week a moment and put it in his auction and sold it. Well, it's pretty set somewhere in that, but that's a white orange tree. They aren't very plentiful in that particular house. This link here, this is the substitute that I tried to buy the green. This is the file set. Very, very different pattern. I think it's a very attractive pattern. The white one is the dahlia, white dahlia. The gold on that one is very, very good compared to what a lot of them usually are. This is the springtime. The green in that set is very difficult to come by. I have 2 pieces in it, not the butter dish, and you see a lot of people advertising for the green springtime pieces. But the green springtime, it does come in marigold, amethyst, and green. This is a luster rose set, and A lot of times we think of the luster rose as not being. This is for singing bird. That's what it's been. Well, this is singing bird, in case anybody didn't know where that's from. But the luster rose set in amethyst isn't too plentiful. This set came out of Bill Carroll. He had his office in St. Louis. And they sold it a piece at a time, and I sat there and bought a piece at a time to get the whole set. I think it's rather attractive. This comes in amber, marigold, green, and the amethyst. Then this is one of the hardest sets I had to put together with draping cable. I put it together a piece at a time, and one of the first sets that I started on was draping cable. As everybody, when you started Carnival, you do a little talking. Draping cable was your favorite pattern. Everyone is buying draping cable, and where you go some draping cable. But anyway, it comes in green and marigold, and there is a butter dish. Some of you are probably familiar with an ice blue, the reproduced butter dish that has a circle in it. So if you run across an ice blue draping cable butter dish with an N in the Northwood mark, it's a reproduced piece. I haven't seen any around in some time. They reproduced it in ice blue and also in an amber color. So if you run across those two, they may not be for real. But it's the thing that I found about the draping cable pieces that you find the good blue iridescence on those pieces, or you find the gold iridescence. So either one I think is very, very nice, but I think the blue iridescence makes a beautiful set with the nice blue iridescence on it. And they're very difficult to match up the many shades of iridescence on those. And there are probably more plentiful and more options to buy those as some of these other sets are in trying to match colors. Now, we hear a lot of comments about cracks and chips and things of that nature regarding our Carnival glass. Now, if you're going to get really particular about chips, sometimes on table sets, you aren't going to buy too many table sets. Because these were something that were intended to be used and were probably used as items that sit on the table. Except they put the butter in, the spoons in the spooner, and they sit out on the table. And they were used quite a bit. And of course, taking that lid on and off, chances are there was going to be some damage. And you do find a lot of damage on the lids, on the butter, and on the sugar lid. So when you're looking at table sets, if you're going to be critical, very critical about chips, nicks, don't look at the table sets because you're going to have to look a long time to find a complete, perfect set as far as the butter dishes and the sugars are concerned. We're going to start in there next. But we do enjoy our table sets. As I said, we have 37 complete and 23 partial. And there are some sets that I do not have. I do not have an apron burst set. Never bought an apron burst set. That's one I think that I've seen in the past is the one that held great wires. And of course, the gentleman from Nebraska was there, and he liked that apron burst set, so I knew I wasn't going to buy it. So, but he did get a good price for it. But I do not have an apron burr. I have a partial set. Inverted feather, inverted color. I do have two pieces of inverted feather, but they're both damaged. I would buy a damaged feather if I find inverted feather also. Zero tuition, pay taxes, income tax, and there wasn't any farming tax at that time. I thought, well, you won't be able to sell that old inverted pistol weapon down there, inverted strawberry. Well, I thought next time about 2 weeks there, so it's still. But anyway, we do enjoy them. And, are there any questions that anybody has about sets, or if you have any that you
Well, a while ago we were talking about aluminum chairs, and I said mine had the aqua base and yours did too. Do they all have the aqua base?
I do not know, Rita. This one I was quite surprised when I did see this. You can see some aqua in this top part of that. I think there's one other piece of the sugar is kind of aqua.
Well, my set doesn't have the aqua, but it's the aqua base to the butter.
I have another green sugar, and it's green. It isn't aqua. This one has a little bit of aqua. The other one's not. I don't know. That's
I've never heard, I didn't even think about it, when I was talking to you about my having the aqua base, and yours does too. Does anybody else know? Does anybody else know about that, Don?
I covered that in my 72 article.
I've got it, I'll go look it up and read it.
randomness of rarity. I really don't know. Table sets, to me, are not really that plentiful. They're, I would say in the last couple of years, there isn't many times that I've heard of a complete set. I've found that now to put a set together, you almost have to put it together a piece at a time versus buying a whole set. And there's very, I think there's, you could probably put a marigold springtime set together out of the room here at the convention, but I don't think you put any other set together. The items that I've seen say at the convention. So there must be a lot more table set collectors than I think. But table sets aren't out there, or the pieces aren't out there. Maybe they're all getting put together in the same place, and people are just hanging on to them a lot more. Yes, sir.
How character is the file set as far as frequency of showing up for 1 piece out of the piece of the time?
Well, I don't think that the set is, that's, in my collecting, I would say that's probably the only complete set that I have run across. I bought it as a complete set minus the butter leaf. That's Chuck Kramer's butter bottom. He brought the butter bottom for me. When I bought it, it had a marigold or luster rose bottom on it. That's what I have on it still. I can't find the butter bottom for the butter. I would say it's a rather scarce set. That one didn't cost a whole lot of money. Well, I bought it at HOACGA about 4 or 5 years ago. With Jim Anderson, I couldn't raise the price of it. I said, we want to have the set. Wow. Chuck has a complete set.
Put it together, Bob, a piece from Kansas City about 2 years ago, one out of Atlanta, Georgia, and John Britton on a couple pieces to finish it out last year. Piece of time.
The ice blue, of course, the ice blue Peacock Fountain is a very nice set. So there are ice blue collectors. You can. That's one I believe that Rick Togus has been trying for several years to get that set together. But you can put the set together probably a piece at a time. But you have to put it a piece at a time. With recaps, you have that set ready.
I have the butter dish and the sugar.
We saw the recap there about the ice cream. I knew that she was working on it, and I think that Richardson, he told me the set sold with the Bruns and Washington.
That set was broke up to complete the only 2 incomplete sets. There are now 2 complete sets, and that is it.
There was a piece sold to Bill Carroll, but the creamer, an ice cream, bread and table creamer sold to Bill Carroll.
No, we have a spoon. There are only 2 creamers and 2 sugar bowls known to exist. There are several of the butter dishes and several sugars. I think probably 5 butter
didn't buy one of those earlier. This refrigerator got the guards does come in milk glass or moonstone, but that's one set that does come. There is ear dyes, kind of a butternut ear dye. This is Secret. I think still has that set, but it's rather long right now. I did see the set. I think she has a price of about $1,200 or $1,500 on the set. And the coloring is what I would like to have, that kind of price. But that is the only set that I know that comes in marigold or milk glass or iridized milk glass or whatever you call that color. But he does have that color, that set. He has some years back. Any other questions? Yes.
What bottom is compatible with the cherry cable?
Which bottom is compatible with cherry cable and thumbprint? I really don't know. Cherry cable and thumbprint, Chuck?
They're almost like a flute, not exactly. They're just on the footing on the one, and I don't know which one it is wider than the other. I bought one, and then I had a flute at home. I got out, I believe, out of the Brown auction, and a few years back, went home and I bought the cherry cable thumbprint. I looked at them and I switched the bases. Now I got two nice ones.
I have the three pieces of cherry cable and thumbprint. The creamer, the cherry cable and thumbprint, which only comes in marigold. The creamer is very difficult to come by. Every creamer, I've seen 2 or 3 creamers, but the creamers are really, I don't know what happened to the creamer. Why all of it just, it left everything out of the creamer. I'm sure there are some good creamers, but the 2 or 3 creamers that I have had an opportunity to buy is very bad. And compared to the other 3 pieces of that set. Well, there was one I think my wife mentioned something about that I didn't talk about, and that's the stork and rushes. I missed that set. I do have the stork and rushes, and as far as I know, that set only comes in 3 pieces. There isn't a covered sugar to the stork and rushes marigold set. The only color that I've seen it in is in marigold, and I do not know of a covered sugar to that set at all. I don't know why they didn't make it, but it is that way.
Could it have a place in the lid for the service spoon? Because I have seen one that's a covered, with a covered lid, only it's got a place like a jam jar.
They reproduced it though in our gold and analysis for the lid.
Yes, the reproduce is, that would be possible. I don't know how the new one is and how the lid sets on the new piece. Stork and Russian set. So, has anyone here seen a covered sugar? I don't think that set is too scarce, Don. A lot of the creamers and that only ear dyes about halfway down, and the bottom part, I've seen several creamers that way. All the rest of them are ear dyes all the way down. I don't know why they forgot that one, but I don't think that they are too scarce. Yet I can't say that they're overly plentiful either. Any other questions?
That last set you talked about is probably more scarce than half what you see up there.
Stork and rushes?
Yes, they just don't come up. No, he's a watermelon catcher. Yes.
Oh, watermelon catcher.
You just don't see them very often. I think they know the whole set.
Well, I know that Frank Fenton has a nice one in his museum. I think he bought from Ivan and Betty Mitchell.
We also have another cat from Hale and Watermelon Butter, if you would like.
Just for saying.
We don't have anything else to go with it.
Yes.
I'd like to know, isn't that the flute?
He'd maple flute. This is Northwood piece. Well, I would say it's probably the green gravy golf cart. I'd want that as a set. That's one of the sets that the old man from Nebraska outbid me on at the grade wire auction. But then I thought I was going to be smart and I was going to let him have it. Well, I paid more at his auction than he paid at the grade wire auction.
Was that 3 years ago here in Hardin?
Yes, yeah, I believe it was 4 years ago.
My mother ran you out. I thought that looked like it.
Well, I think that this is probably a very desirable set. A lot of people like the country kitchen. You do see those pieces. Marigold Country Kitchen is going to be an awful hard set to complete also. I think very beautiful marigold. But it will be hard to complete. This up in Michigan, probably this is probably a small amount of what Bob Leonard. He's been collecting table sets for several years. I've never seen Bob Leonard's. I don't know whether I'm sure there are a lot of people here that have seen Bob Leonard sets, but I'm sure he has a lot of table sets. He was probably buying table sets before I ever bought my first maple leaf spooner. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
From here, the Franconia covered butter, it's not like a religion, but it looks almost like an opalescent egg. And that makes me wonder if there is a set of anything or a piece of the table set in an opalescent egg.
I have not run across any at all. In opalescent. No, I do not know of any set that even starts out to be an aqua opal or any kind of a peach opal or any opalescent piece.
Will make a wheat spooner like that?
Yes, ma'am.
I've never seen one.
That may be the piece I need for creamer. Did you pay $90 for it?
Don't think so, but I think
We may have to try that piece. We may have to try that piece. You don't have it on you now, do you?
Back in Vermont.
Well, if there are no other questions, I appreciate your coming. And if you come up and look, I would just ask you to be careful with. I don't need any more chips than what are already there. So if you just be careful with the pieces, why I appreciate it very much. So, but I'd like for you to look at them and see what you come up and look at them yourself and see what you think about it. So, yes.
Which is your favorite model?
Well, I think the favorite of mine is the Carnival Hop Star in the amateur cut. I really think that's a beautiful set. Yes, ma'am.
How many different patterns are there on the table sets?
43.
Yeah, but how many are available?
43. I believe it's 43. I have a listing here. I have a complete listing of the table sets and by colors. I think I have 40 copies here. If y'all would like to have a copy of it, I'll have them here. So if you'd like to have a copy, that's my knowledge of the table sets and the patterns and what colors they come in. So I have 40 sets, 40 of copies here, and they'll go as far as they'll go. So again, I appreciate your coming. Marie McGee, as I said, will be giving us a talk this evening. And we appreciate your bringing the glass, Marie, and we'll tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, John Britt will set up and give us a talk. We appreciate his coming. We had to make special arrangements to keep John having to bring 2 truckloads of glass. Bring one here and go back to Manhattan and pick up another one. But anyway, John he travels so much, he has to catch his glass in between trips. But anyway, we appreciate John Lucille bringing their glass also to talk. And we appreciate Don Moore consenting to give us a talk. These talks are being videotaped. Schubert is taping one, but we are also taping that. I think they're going to get together and make up one tape. We're going to try to make these tapes available. These talks, all the talks are going to be videoed, taped, and we're going to make them available for members to buy if they would like to. We feel that this is a thing that we should have been doing several years ago, and getting the information down on tape, recording it. The books are getting to be rather expensive items to produce anymore, and to buy and to distribute. And we have a lot of knowledge, conventions about different glass, and you see a lot of different glass, and we think that it's time that we started recording this and making these recordings available to individuals or clubs or whatever for their viewing later on. And I think Mr. Fenton says he has a tape that we're going to try to set up sometime on Fenton glass that he brought with him. And so we're going to try to set up sometime during this that we can view his tape also that he brought with him on Fenton glass. And I think that Frank also told me a while ago that he is going to prepare an item or an article or a book or a paper on 80 years of Carnival glass. And he would like to spend some time with some of you, or he'd like to get some opinions from you as to what you would like that paper or that article or that tape or video or whatever he's going to present that, prepare for that. He would like to have your input as to what you would like to see and him talk about in 80 years of Carnival glass. It ought to be a rather interesting thing, and I'm sure that we're all looking forward to seeing results of that. So if you have an opinion that you would like to influence his thinking on the last 80 years of Carnival, or you got something you don't like about what he did 80 years ago, let him know. He would like to have your inputs about his...
I don't remember what I was doing 80 years ago.
But anyway, I'm sure that he would welcome your inputs about what you think that 80 years of Carnival glass stories should talk about. So he will be around. So corner him, and he'll be glad to talk about glass too. Hear Marie's story on Millersburg. It's very nice. Thank you for coming.
Ice cream. So you would have to take your own container down.